Alright, back on the bus this morning. I got some parts, so I'll show you guys what we picked up for the bus and what I found on the front end. So let me go around to the other side because the light's not great over here and show you what I got. This is organized chaos. It's a little messy this morning. I gotta pick up my tools, but let me let this focus. Get the light in there. You can see the bottom leaves. They've taken out, I would say probably maybe 3 leaves. I'm not sure the exact count that's supposed to be in here, but it's missing these 2 smaller leaves on this side, and that's how they lowered the front. Not the proper way to lower it. You know, if you're going to lower your bus, the spindle is probably the best way because you retain the suspension geometry and you get the lowered look. When you do it this way, the bus basically is slammed down on all the bump stops and it rides sort of rough. I've got my feelers out for some of those leaves. Of course, it's not something you can go buy at a parts store, so that's sort of it's a difficult situation. You know, I want to fix this now because it's a part and it's no extra charge at this point, but if I had to take this all back apart to install those leaves, it's not going to be good. But there's a show in Jacksonville this weekend, so a lot of people are up there. So the one guy that's got most of the bus parts, Orange Bus Bob, is not available right now. But I need to get some of those leaves if I want to raise it back up, and that's where we're at with that. And I've got this all apart. I haven't got the ball joints pressed in. I did get the brake rotor off of this side. There's the bad rotor. You can see where it was cut down quite a bit, and the problem with that was the bolt. There's 2 bolts that hold these rotors onto the hub, and one of the bolts was stripped out, so they couldn't get that off. It's not able to be turned because of the pitting, and it's cut under the limit there towards the hub, and we're just going to go ahead and put a brand new assembly on, and it'll be much sweeter. They did replace just the caliper. I bought some pads. I'm going to see what condition the pads are in. If the pads are more than likely are going to be worn uneven because of the way the rotor was left. So I elected to buy some pads so it'd be nice and sweet, since we're pretty much doing a complete brake job on this. We want the brakes to work perfect. I got the ball joint press on the other side over there. I might have to weld a little tab on the control arm to use that. Having a hard time getting these upper control arms out of the beam for some reason, but if I can press them out in the car, it won't be an issue. I've got the bottom ones out, and from the way the spring rate is on that arm, I don't think they've gone into that top one and taken leaves out. It's just the bottom. Sorry about that camera work. Okay, let's we'll go out here, check this out. Mailman, I got the motor out here, getting ready to do a little valve adjustment on that. I figured I'd turn the camera on for that. I'm going to show you some spark plug wires, some inferior parts, and the proper part. And we're going to adjust this fan housing because whoever put this generator on didn't get the fan housing in the sheet metal. So we're going to remove that and reinstall it, and we're going to put a bolt in over here and just basically tighten everything up and make it right. I'm probably going to, when I have the fan housing off, I'll flip these around so they can be tightened too. Let's take a look at this clutch. I wanted to show you the difference. We looked at the clutch a little bit the other day, and if you guys have a Volkswagen and you know you're going to put a clutch in it, you're going to run into this problem because the parts store is going to want to sell you the cheaper clutch, and I'm going to explain why and how all that happens and my opinion on it. First, we have our flywheel here, and you can see it's beautiful now. This is called a Winona finish, and that's the type of stone they use to cut this. It gives it that spiral pattern. Anytime you're going to have a Volkswagen flywheel machine, you want to be sure that you machine both surfaces. The surface where the pressure plate sits and also the surface where the disc rides. So we're gonna do a little unboxing here on our clutch. I'll show you what comes in the kit when you buy a nice kit. This is a Sachs kit. You get a really nice disc. It's not spring loaded. The spring loaded discs don't work really good in the bus. The weight of the bus breaks the springs down, and that hub comes loose shortly after. So you want to go with a solid disc if you're going to do a bus. Here's our pressure plate. We'll take that out and set that right there for a minute, and we're going to get the other one and set it next to it. And then this kit looks a little rough, but I'm sure the parts are decent in here. Sometimes shipping's not kind to these, but there's no damage on the bearing. The package was a little rough. Get a nice release bearing. You get a bushing. This is a roller bushing for the back of a bus, and then you get a nice pilot tool to install everything. The reason you get that roller bearing, that is for a Type 4 motor, not a Type 1 engine, and this kit crosses over to both vehicles. So let's set the box off to the side, and we're gonna get these side by side, and now you can pretty much see what I was talking about, the different constructions in the diaphragm. And what I mean by diaphragm is this is the diaphragm of the clutch, and this is a spring. This is what applies the pressure to the disc, and you can see the difference in design of these fingers in the proper Sachs design. This is an OEM copy, and if you would have bought your car new or bus, this is what would have come with it, not something like this. So we're going to flip these units over now, and let me point out a few more items here. I'm going to get the paper out of the way. Just quality things. You can see the size of the rivet, alignment pin, balancing pin, whatever this is more of a balance. You notice the difference in size here. Let's flip it over, and you can see the difference in construction almost right away. I don't know what's coming in on the camera. You never know what you capture, until you watch the video. You can see the shoe construction that I was talking about. You can see how this is more robust. The shoe comes all the way down. It has a floor on it, and then they assemble the hat, which is the outer cover, to the shoe. And on this plate, you can see how these rivets are in the surface of the disc, where the disc seats. And what this does is when they do this, it makes the shoe not flat anymore, and then you get really bad wear like we saw with this. But you can see the difference in construction. How the clutch is put together is completely different. This is a much more robust shoe in here. It takes the heat a lot better, and this will last years and years and years. When we flip this sideways, you can see how much thinner this is. There's less of it, and the way everything attaches is sort of cheesy. So that's why I like the original Sachs. Now this clutch isn't that old to the car, and I have a pair of calipers somewhere here. We'll take a little measurement on this disc that we just got. We'll put that on 0. I didn't think you could see the other one. This one's pretty bad too, because I've been measuring installed height and bow springs in my bedroom on my race heads. So this one's right at 30 thousandths on the thickness. And then we're going to go ahead and put this on this one. And this one is 19 thousandths. So it's not quite half as thin, but it's got a lot less material on it right from the get-go. You can see it has all the wear lines in it still, but there's a lot less clutch from the beginning. So no bargain at all when you buy that. Opt for the better clutch, and you're going to be much happier. The reason why they stock this clutch is because it's called profit margin. And when you're in business and you can buy this part for $5 and sell it for $39 and make a 120% profit margin, where this part might cost you a little more to keep on your shelf and you can't mark it up as much. So that's the only reason to offer this to a customer, and not the quality part that the car came with. I don't see any reason to put a shitty part in a car, because it just makes you look bad, and it's almost never has a good result. Now, if you get out to the parts store, I love my parts store, and they'll tell me that they sell these all the time and never have a problem. And that's cool. You know, I just want mine to work a little better than that. So that's why I go this route. And you know, you should probably go this route, because it's just it's a much better clutch, much better setup. But anyway, that's that. And that's our flywheel. And like I said, you just want to make sure you have this surface and this surface machined equally, because if you just surface the bottom and don't surface this, your pressure plate is going to be too far away from this surface, and you'll have too much gap, so you'll lose clamping power is what happens. So this video is going to be forever and a day. I don't know how they all get like this. Oh. Let's go out here on this bad boy, and I'll show you a few things that I found on this. So we found the shim issue on this motor, and this motor looks fairly new. I've seen these motors. This is there's a guy in Michigan that paints his motor silver like this and sells them on the Samba. I don't know if that's one of his or what it is, but when I pop the valve covers off, it does have brand new cylinder heads on it, both sides. Even though they're painted silver, they're brand new. It has brand new springs, brand new retainers, all new hardware. So I'm hoping that it was just a mistake made with the setting the flywheel on there. The combination of the improper shim combination and that paper gasket creating way too much end play. Hopefully we can tighten that up and give the motor some life, and we caught it in time. So we're going to adjust the valves. I've already got my pulley marked here. You can see the mark. They had it marked. It was a little off. I just moved it over so I can set the timing later, put it in the proper position. You want to rotate this counterclockwise half turns at a time, 180 from each other, top dead center and BDC, and we're going to turn it 180 degrees or half turn each time we adjust the valves. So we're going to rotate it and get it on number one. Number one will be on the passenger side of a Volkswagen, and it's the rear cylinder. This is number one back here. So let's rotate this around. You can see our valves moving. Okay, you can see both valves are in the closed position now. And Volkswagens are a solid lifter, so they require maintenance. You have to adjust the valves. It's not like a hydraulic lifter that can compensate and adjust as the cam wears and stuff. So this is a maintenance deal, and this is something that you don't want to overlook, because it can really have an effect on how the motor runs. So let me get the camera in position where you guys can see. You can see pretty good. This motor's out of the car, so I don't usually get this opportunity. Anyway, we're going to install our feeler gauge. These are really loose, so I err on the 4/1000th side on my valve adjustment. Volkswagen changed it from 4 to 6 because people refused to maintenance their bugs, and they were burning valves. But if you're going to do the proper maintenance and you want your car to run the best it can, set them at 4 and see if you can tell a difference. Also, the valve train noise will be considerably quieter. You know, on the race cars we used to adjust them and set them at 4 and 6, and we would experiment with lash, and we've gotten to the point now where we actually set the valve at 0 as long as the push rod turns. In the race car we're good with that, and what that does is it keeps the valve train a lot tighter, because all this grows as the motor gets heat in it. So if we had 6/1000 valve lash cold, when the motor's hot it could be as high as 20 or 30, and that's where you get the noise in these motors. So, and on the race car stuff, when you're buzzing it up to 9,500 RPM, you know, you got to keep the valve train sort of in check. So just babbling there. I think we're going to go to the track tonight with Noel's car, so I'll take you guys along with me. And we're going to take the Pro Mod car, the turbo car. I haven't raced that yet. I think I showed you that car when we've gone to his house. Used to sit in the living room, but he's built a new race shop at the house. So I got to take you guys over there. Got a nice AC room and an engine room now and stuff over there. So, all right, we're going to turn this counterclockwise a half turn. Go, rock it back and forth. These two are closed now, and as long as you get it on TDC and you get these closed and you start on number one, a half a turn counterclockwise each time will go to the next cylinder. Volkswagens are magical. And these are loose. Loosey goosey. I'm gonna close this up. Normally, if I would find them this loose, they're not really, super loose, but that could mean that your heads come loose. This motor has no oil leaks, so I'm assuming the cylinder head's still pretty tight. Normally, when the head comes this loose, your push rod tubes will be seeping. So we'll try just a valve adjustment and go from there. I don't like to just torque the bottom bolts on the cylinder head because it makes the head not sit flat on the jugs. If you're going to do a cylinder torque, you almost have to pull all the sheet metal off the motor to get these top bolts. And we're not going to get into that if it's not necessary. We're just trying to get this straightened out where he can enjoy it and have some confidence, and then we can maintenance as we go. I like it a little tighter than that. Sometimes they can be difficult to get them perfect. This one's going to be this one's sort of hard to get to because of the mount. Now it's a little too tight. We got to get it just right. Settle for nothing less than the best that you can do, man. There we go. Perfect. Took a while, but we got it. So I hope everybody's having a great day out there in YouTube land. It's a pretty nice day here in Florida, not going to complain. Got some kids that are sick, kids that stay out too late, all the normal teenager stuff. I've got my 18-year-old son now. And the problem is when you're a parent, you never stop worrying about your kids. It doesn't matter how old they are. And last night he didn't call me. He went out, dropped him off, and he didn't call me up till late to come get him because I'm having to chaperone and drive him everywhere. I'm not chaperone him. There you go. I'm having to drive him all over town. But anywho, we finally found him last night, and he's sick this morning. So go figure. Must have been a good party. All right, to the other side. There we go. Now we're on the 3 and 4 side, and number 3 will be our next cylinder. Again, half a turn, counterclockwise. This generator nut is loose. We'll tighten that up. gosh. Hopefully the nut doesn't come loose when the spark plugs are out of the motor. Alright, I'll give myself a little room, reposition you guys. Make sure you're still in the shot. Yep, still in the shot. Anyway, looking here. I see a little issue there. I'll take care of. The stud needs to be moved up. A lot of times these studs will interfere with the rocker arm. And you just put a screwdriver in there and move the stud up. You might have to move that one. That one might be interfering. Anyway, these are actually Volkswagen heads. I was really impressed when I popped the valve covers off. You can't get good cylinder heads now. And this motor actually has a set of nice heads on it. Or this motor has a nice set of heads. Usually there's the market is flooded right now with Chinese stuff. Cylinder heads, especially right now, are hard to get. So it's cool to see some nice stuff. That's why I'm hoping the flywheel issue in the back is just you know, a shim issue, and we can get some use out of this engine. Same guy tightened the wheels. Could barely get the wheels off of this thing. If they would have ever had a flat, the guy would have been really mad. Some guys don't tighten enough, and some guys just gorilla tighten everything. Anyway, of course you want these to be tight. These are busy, man. This is, you know, you're in the hardest working part of the engine is the valve spring, and it takes a lot of abuse, more than anything in the motor. Right here is where all the abuse happens. Turn here, keep the nut from falling off every time I try to turn the motor. Rock it back and forth. This is our last one here, and the valve adjustment will be complete. Got some new valve cover gaskets to go on here, some new plugs, and some new wires. I'll show you the wires here in a minute, why we replace those. And somebody had put platinum plugs in them, and the platinums don't work good. You want to get the copper Bosch. So we got the proper plugs for it. We got some nice wires. We're going to adjust the valves here. This will make a big difference. They were super loose. And we'll fix the air leak so it runs a little cooler. And this baby will be happy. Clutch will be working. Flywheel will be working. When I worked on the funny car team, we used to adjust the valves like this. You know, basically they're solid lifters too. We adjust them every pass. We rebuild the motor, or at least take the cylinder heads off, and look at the blower and all that stuff. And you know, you're constantly dropping the screwdriver and the wrench. So the crew chief that I worked for at the time, I worked for Terry Mullins. He was a funny car racer in Division II. He's out of Oak Ridge, Tennessee. And John Reynolds was the crew chief. And he made the valve adjustment tool that has the screwdriver and the wrench built onto each other so you can't drop it. Back in the 95 he came up with that. Now you can buy them everywhere. Anyway, that completes the valve adjustment. Little story time there. Let's go over here and look at the tune-up components. These are Do the quality comparison here. And, ignition parts are sort of important on a Volkswagen. Well, any car, you know, you want good combustion, and it comes from good ignition parts. So we have a premium wire set here from Bosch. We'll pull one of these out. Pull them all out. I think they sort of screw them together there with a bread tie. You can see the quality differences. You know, you can't really compare. And the wires are the right length, and they have the right angle on them instead of 90 boot. They've just started using this stainless or aluminum hardware. They used to be brass, but still better than what was on there. And then the spark plugs, we're going to go with the traditional copper core plug, and it had a platinum in it. The platinum has a lot smaller electrode, and doesn't work as good with the point ignition. The traditional plug seems to be much more compatible. So we'll make those two changes, and I'll put those in next. I got to pull the fan off. I'm not going to leave the video running for that because it'll take forever. And yeah, so here we go. We got some new wheel cylinders under here. I don't know if I showed you that. You see, brand new cylinder, and we'll be rebuilding anything or any hokey stuff. Got the two soft lines over there on the floor. Strainer gaskets, valve cover gaskets, set of shoes. Showed you guys the clutch. Here's our new rotor. It's really nice quality. Seems pretty decent. Got the shock absorbers were super bad on this. They're collapsed, and so I got a new set of shocks for it. For the front, I got the pads there. I got my 4 ball joints in the freezer freezing up, and then I've got my 2 outer tie rods, and that should wrap this one up. Probably another day or two worth of work here. I'm trying to just do it a little at a time. But anyway, let me get the sheet metal off. Hope you guys are having a good day. Like I said, we'll take you guys to the races later, and that'll be pretty cool. We've been putting this car together for about 3 years now, and we're going to campaign it pretty hard. We're going to race both cars. Going to race my car and his car. And his car's actually had the national record before he bought it. And he's done a bunch of changes. Re-powder coated everything, got everything really sweet looking. So that'll be a fun trip tonight. We're gonna run out to Lakeland, which is towards Tampa. So I'll take you guys with me, and yeah, I'm gonna get on the Mustang soon. I don't know when. Andrew's bitching at me about paying the insurance for it and me not driving it, and I just haven't been in the mood to pull a transmission out, but gonna have to do that. I put an intake manifold on it, and had a little water leak on the intake manifold, and when I started it up, it was pouring out between the tranny and the back of the block, so I'm suspecting the freeze plugs are bad back there. But yeah, so all right, I'm gonna shut up. We're gonna do that raffle drawing tonight when Andrea gets home. She says she doesn't feel good, but we'll get that done. And I've got some YouTube garage stickers also, some like this kind in here. Let me see if I can find one. You know what's funny is John made a bunch of them for me and I never used them, so if you guys want a YouTube garage sticker, they're sort of like the one on the wall over there, but let me see if I can get by because you can't see diddly diddly right there. It's like one of those but smaller or littler. And I'll show you those when we do the drawing, and if you want one of those, I'll get them out to you. Of course, supply is limited, so be looking for that video so you can get your sticker coming. And yeah, so shop's still a little dirty, but I'm working. Got the ball joint press out there, and Gonna try to make that work on the top ones, and I got the bottom arms out here. We'll take those over to the press and knock those out and get everything painted. I gotta disassemble the backing plates off the spindles there and paint everything, clean everything, degrease everything, and then we'll reassemble everything clean, not greasy. So same with the brake drums, have to all be clean, painted, and clean all the hardware and stuff up for the brakes and stuff like that. So there you go, man. There's the 2 cats I got left there. Yeah, somebody's on a war on my cats here lately. Anyway, we'll talk to you guys later. Make it a great day. We'll leave you with a little hawk action. They're over there, not hawks. They look like swallowtail. Those are like what they call beach hawks, I guess. I don't know. Alright guys, I'm rambling. You guys are going, man, end the video already. You guys like, subscribe, hate the video, whatever. Interact with it though. I appreciate the support. And looking forward to the next one, guys.